The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.
It is the premiere episode of the Career Trail Season 2 right here on Joy Learning. Welcome to the season. Now today, my guest for today is very special. She is an ace broadcast journalist and also a media personality. And 13th of February was 27 good years of being a TV presenter. Wow. And she's a woman. You know, someone once told me that it is good to become a journalist, but you always have to make sure you are making impact. And this is a woman who has, over the years, 27 good years, been using the microphone to make impact of many lives. Let's take a look at the profile video.
This week on Career Trail, who is our guest? She is married with a beautiful daughter. She's a Ghanaian journalist, an ace broadcaster, and an author. She's a product of Tema Community 8 No. 1 Basic School, Infantiman Girls School, Ghana Institute of Journalism, now Unimac, and City University, based in London. She's passionate about issues of women, hence leading to the Girl in Need Foundation. She has received numerous honors, including Most Inspiring Woman in Media and the United Nations Millennium Development Goals MDGs 4 and 5 Ambassador Award 2012. Following the Accra Business Schools Award of a Fellowship of the Boardroom Institute, FBI, she was bestowed with the new title, Doctor. Our guest for this week's edition of Career Trail is Oheneyere Gifty Anti.
You have it all. If you are ready, I was definitely born ready to do this. Let's give a round of applause for our guest for today, Oheneyere Dr. Gifty Anti. I have the name correctly.
Yes, you do.
You are looking so pretty.
Well, when you walked in and I saw, I said, I need to, step up a bit. You look really good when you walk in. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
And red is my color, so.
Oh, okay.
You got me in the right mood.
Wow. For 27 years.
Yep.
That's quite a journey.
Yeah. But I actually cut my teeth in 1995 when Joy FM started. I was a guest presenter. I was a guest artist on two of their first program. That was New Generation and Every Woman, which was on Saturdays and Sundays. With Notedua and a few others. Yeah, so that's where it started. But my TV career as a presenter started 13 February 1997.
Wow. Where was I by then?
Your father was spying your mother, I'm sure. By then. They hadn't even thought about you yet.
Wow. Hey, looking so vibrant, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Someone would just say maybe you're just a little above 30.
Hey, I'm 54. I turned 54 this January.
How are you able to do this?
Well, by being myself, by enjoying myself. You said something when you came back from the profile. You said, I was born to do this, and I like that. It tells me that you love what you do. You believe in yourself, and you believe in what you do. That makes the difference. You're doing it because you want to. I say that journalism found me, and I fell in love with journalism. And it's been my life. I can't think about doing anything else apart from being a journalist, apart from being a broadcast journalist. So I love what I do. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I don't try to impress anybody. I live according to what I can afford and what I can contain. Sometimes I go beyond, especially I overwork myself though. But, I'm myself.
You are yourself.
So it doesn't put pressure on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to be like you when I grow up. So
in fact, you'll be much better.
Hallelujah. Okay. So we all know you as Gifty Anti.
Yes.
Yes. When we talk about Gifty Anti, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Oh, okay. Gifty Anti is the last of 8 children.
Wow.
Both parents are late, close to 20 years ago. It's been a long time, yeah. But my father was a retired police officer. My mother was a trader. at Mankesim. She used to trade in second-hand clothing. I grew up in Tema. Okay, let me give you my history.
Okay.
I was conceived at Aplau, born at Chebi, raised in Tema. Very complicated, yeah. So I was conceived in the Volta region, that's Aflao.
Yeah.
And then born in the Eastern region, Chebi. And then I grew up in Tema, Greater Accra. And I schooled in Central region. And my mother is from Central region, so I'm originally a Fanti, and my dad is an Achim.
Wow.
Very complicated.
Very.
Right? That's why it's not easy to understand me. Yeah, that's just by the way. But I went to Comtiate number 1 primary school. We used to go, it's a government school. They used to go to Saito. So that's where I schooled. Then went to Fantiman Girls Secondary School. Went to GIJ to do journalism. Worked at GBC for about 7 years. Went to do my master's in UK City University. Then came back, worked for a few years, and then left to be on my own.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but how was the upbringing like growing up?
Ooh, there was so much love at home. I'm a daddy's girl, you know. I was very close to my dad. You know, you will not count us among the average or the upper class. No, we were there, but, you know, we were okay. We were just so much love, very close-knit family. Things were not that easy when we were growing up. You have to, you know, survive. But my dad was a hands-on dad. I didn't grow up with my mother around. My mother and my father separated when I was very, very, very little. So it was all my dad, and my dad was a hands-on dad, you know. The first time I had my menses, it was my father, who I told. He was the one who went to find, you know, sanitary no, those times it was, you know, something else. The guys, I won't tell them. You said, but when I was having menstrual cramps, it was my father who went. Then there was a medicine called Anti-Mercy. You know, no, it wasn't. It's a Madame Catherine. Yes, my father was the one who went to find that one for me to use. My father, when I was in secondary school, when a boy writes to me, I send it to him. And for that, look, this time a boy has written to him and said, don't mind him. And then when I was informed, when I got to, I think, Form 3 or Form 4, I stopped sending it. My father said,
something is happening.
You know, it became suspicious. But I stopped that. But I was so close to my dad. I was close to my siblings. We are still very close. You know, my older siblings, they are all scattered across the world. But there are a few of us here. But it was fun growing up. My father would always want you to understand that you matter. You're so important. My father raised me to believe that I can achieve anything. My father was not the type that you could get him to say, oh, your daughter is going, she needs to get married. No, 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 no. I don't ever remember having a conversation about marriage with my dad, but always strive hard. There's nothing you can't achieve. Remember, God has got you. Remember where you're coming from. You're the youngest. You're the least in your family. Don't be too boastful. Don't be, you know, too proud. Be humble. Remember where you're coming from. My father was this one who would tell you that it's good to give back to society. Be kind. You know, I was told that when I was little, my name, they gave me a different name. And then I think around when I was 4 or 5, he changed it to Gifty, because he said I was very giving, you know, I was just giving things. So he changed it to Gifty. But so everything I know and I am now, it's more of my father. And of course, my siblings, my older siblings also, you know, playing a major role in my upbringing. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Very beautiful story there. Okay, so now let's talk about your educational journey. You were talking about you attending Infantimine, sorry.
Yeah.
So what course did you pursue at the senior high school? I think at that time it wasn't senior high school.
I did O and A level. We call this 7 years of hard labor. 7 years. We do Form 1 to Form 5. That's O level. That's 5 years. Then you do 2 years. That's lower and upper assess, you know, so that's 7 years.
Today you go and do medicals for 7 years, and you did that at
now
my senior high school.
Yes, that's what it did. But I mean, for my specialized literature has always been, I mean, my interest. So it's no wonder that you know, there are people who doubt. Some people say, "Are you sure you are the one? How do you have time to write the books?" But You know, my uncle, my big brother, quite recently said, you've always been an ardent reader. You know, you write, love to write, you love to read. So he's not surprised. I produced between 2019 and 2023, I released 7 books. So in 4 years, I released 7 books.
Wow.
Yeah. So literature has always been
your favorite.
my favorite. So for Successful Model, literature, economics, and government.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
the economics, I don't know why I did it. You know, they gave it to me, I did it. I was terrible at it. I was terrible at it, yeah. But those are the subjects I did. And then I wanted to go to, it was tech or suicide.
Oh,
That's what we
okay.
used to. You know Doreen? Doreen Ando.
Doreen Ando,
Yeah,
yeah.
Doreen Ando. We grew up in Tema together. We used to say we are going to be roommates at Unity Hall at KNUST. So yeah,
The goal
Tho-
was
those
there.
was the that was the goal, you know. But I wanted to do land economy, but it didn't happen.
So what changed?
So what changed? I mean, I hustled, tried, I didn't get admission. So I came, in fact, I think I stayed on campus, KNUST, you know, for a whole semester, you know, patching with some friends at Africa Hall. And there's still some people who say, man, they think that I was, you know, I came, no, I was hustling to get admission. I didn't. I came home, and then my big brother, he's the firstborn, Mr. Gifty Anti, he said, listen, go and try School of Journalism. You know, he didn't want me staying because I was very miserable. All my age group, my mates, all of them have gone to one tertiary institution or traveled or somewhere or are doing something. So he wanted me to try, and I wasn't. So I decided to go and do PR, public relations at GIJ, Ghana Institute of Journalism. But we wrote the exams, went for interview, and the panel told me they think I'll be good for journalism. I want to do PR.
Why PR?
For those times, a PR guy, they used to use a Peugeot. You know, they had cars. You know, they seemed to be doing well. So that's where I wanted to go. First panel said, second panel also said, with an answer, I insisted, no, I want to do public relations. My letter came and it was journalism. I cried. But my brother, again, my big brother said, listen, you can still be a public relations officer if you do journalism. So don't worry. So I went into it, and I was raised to give off my best at any given time. My father raised us to believe that no matter what you're doing at a given time, give it your all, because you don't know the door that it will open for you. You don't know who is watching you and will identify you and, you know, help you reach your goal or get to where you're going. He would tell us stories. I don't know whether they were true or not, but my dad always had. He was a Gold Coast police officer, so he would tell us one story, and there was this police officer, and this every time there was a story, you know, somewhere that will encourage you or make you believe that, yeah, you have to give of your best wherever you find yourself. So I just thrust myself into journalism, and I did my all. You know, I was very active on campus. I became the women's commissioner at, DIJ. I became the women's nooks, you know, commissioner as well. I started the Pen Ladies Club, and the Pen Ladies Club came out of, once again, I didn't recognize this then, but I've been talking about that lately. Nana Kunedu Ajuman Rollins, you know, bless her. That was 1995. I was a student leader, and they had come back from the Beijing conference.
Okay.
And there was a debriefing, you know, at the State House, Parliament House. So they invited women's groups and then student leaders as well. And after that, I went to her. You know, I've always been a stubborn one, you know, the rebel one. So I walked closer and said, Madam, I think you were talking over the heads of the young ones, because the young ones are not being included in this and that going on about it. Yeah, the Friday Born thing was coming. She just looked at me and said, and so what are you going to do about it? My initial reaction was, I've been snubbed. Then the second I thought about it, like, yeah, it's a challenge. What am I am going to do something about it. So I went back to school, GIJ, and started the Pen Ladies Club with my friend Kate Ado. And we mobilized the women. We had you know, various engagements and programs, you know, whilst we were there. So that's when my gender activism passionately started. You know, of course, I was raised to believe that I can do anything. My father never differentiated between the boys and girls. We were 4 boys, 4 girls, and I'm the youngest. Never. He always raised us to believe that you can do anything, you know. And then I went to a girls' school. Infantile girls, they used to call us Manside. We staged a coup, yeah. In the 80s, we staged a coup, you know, in school. We can do anything, we just get it. So it's always been there, believing in women, and I also always had that motherly instincts. I believe that it's because I'm the last born. I didn't have anybody to boss around. You know, my sisters and brothers were always bosses, so I'm always gathering people around me, mothering them, being a big sister kind of, and it ran through my life from primary to secondary to you know, to now. So that's been my journey. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I want to ask, growing up, who did you aspire to become, or what did you want to become?
One of my friends, Gifty Anti, she's in the UK, called me just a few weeks ago, and she was like, "Hey, air hostess." You know, when you grow up in a home or in a family where there's a struggle, you always look at where you think you can excel. That's during my generation.
Okay.
Where you think you can make some money. My aim from childhood till date were 3. First, to make my father proud. Second, to make some money to be able to take care of my dad. And then third, to impact lives, to help others, people in need. Throughout my life, I've had people help me, support me. Sometimes people I don't know anywhere. I mean, at Infantile Girls Secondary School, I mean, young students will come and say, "Oh, she's my school mother." And their parents will bring me food stuff, will bring me provisions. I've always had people show me love. So I've always wanted to give back
To society.
to society. So those are the 3 things. It's been always been. So anything at a point in time, I wanted to be a customs officer because I saw customs officer in them, their nice uniform and, you know, making money, you know. And then I wanted to be an air hostess. And then I wanted to be a clearing agent. Then I wanted to be a land economist. So that's what took me to tech. I wanted to be a land economist, and it didn't happen. Journalism
wasn't in a picture.
Didn't happen. And you know how I fell in love with journalism. Okay. So those years, right, at GIJ, you would go out to do, in your second year, you do 6 months internship.
Oh, okay.
And again, remember, I wanted to be a public relations officer. So I was posted to internal revenue at the PR department. And that time, Professor Jonathan Mills was the Director General for the Ghana Revenue. It used to be Ghana Revenue Authority, IRS. You know, Internal Revenue Authority, IRS, yes. I mean, may God bless him. And I was taken to the PR department. My head of PR always saw how I was always reading and pointing out and giving ideas and loopholes. So one day, after just 1 month, my dear, 1 month, this one comes to me and said, "Gifty, I think you should go and try the media houses. If you don't like it, you come back, and I promise you I'll take you in after." I was like, Jesus, which one is this one? Why me?
At a point in your life, everyone is recommending something.
So he convinced me, you know, it was Commander Dazi, bless him. He convinced me, and I said, okay. I went to GNA. I met some greats, Dave Agbenu, Gay Hearts, and others. And I used to follow them to Parliament to do parliamentary reporting. And it was quite interesting. I love debate. I love, you know, so I was just, and then the following month, they posted me to Ghanaian Times. Ghanaian Times, I met a woman who has now become my professional godmother, Mrs. Liz Hayford Asari, took me under her wings, and she was tough on me. Lord, I thought this woman hated me with a passion. She was tough on me. Nothing I did pleased her. I'll go on assignment, she'll read and she'll just put it aside. Go and write again. Go and write a proper story. So one day, they sent me on assignment to go and find a story. And those times, I was a fine, slim girl. My heels were longer than yours.
Age.
You know, I'd gone to wear, tell my cheek. They looked at me and said, go and find a story. Huh? How do you mean go? And said, go out, go and look for a story. Went to Secom. And I saw a little girl who was selling water. Not sachet, that time they didn't have sachet water. You know, the one they tie in a room. And so I started talking to them. I mean, I was just, you know, remember I always had that motherly instinct. So I just felt so, this child was on her own. I mean, I saw before but I used to go with my older siblings. You know, I was not allowed to, you know, go alone. And this child, so I had a conversation. She was brought to Accra by an auntie who promised to take her to school, but wasn't doing that. So I went to write the story. Mrs. Liz Heaven, so I looked at it and said, okay, let me, she asked me questions and then, okay, write that, add this, that. And guess what? That story made a front page headline.
I believe that was your first breakthrough in journalism.
It was my father's breakthrough.
Oh.
My father took the newspaper, walked the length and breadth of Tema, showed it to everyone that is his child, that's his daughter. And I mean, everybody used to call me Nana. That's what they call me. Say Nana, on one Gifty Anti, you know, that's Gifty Anti. That's what. And I saw. Remember, my aim was to make my father proud. And I saw the pride. I said, listen, I will just put I didn't have good bumps. I'll put my all into it. If this is what is going to make my father proud, I'm going to give it my all. And that's where it started. I was there for just a month. Then I was posted to GBC, where I stayed for 3 months. I met some amazing women and men there who also held my hand. And when I finally appeared on TV,
come and see Daddy.
Okay, let me leave it for you.
Wow.
Yeah. And look at that.
Wow.
Today, I talk for a living.
Yeah.
You know, I talk for a living. So people can see in you, but sometimes your circumstances can blind you. My father, when I didn't get admission as tech, I got sick from brokenness, because I come home and all my friends have gone to the university. I'm the only one, you know. Once again, Nana is the one left behind. And so, you know, the emotions and everything. And I was on admission, and he came there one early morning and looked at me, and I said to him, and I wrote in one of my books, 50 Nuggets at 50. I said to him that, don't worry. And the title was, letter to my dad, that if you could see me now. And I said, don't worry. When I grow up, I'll marry a doctor and I'll call myself Dr. Mrs.
Hey.
And then I saw my father become teary and said, Nana, you will be great. You wouldn't have to marry somebody to be great, but you will be great. I said, okay. I didn't believe it. I looked at my circumstances there. Where is that greatness going to come from?
But
this is yeah. So in that book I write that if you could see me now, yes, I didn't go to school to get a doctorate, but I have honorary doctorates. You know, I didn't marry a doctor, but I married a chief. I didn't do this, but I'm doing this. I've achieved this. I have this number of awards. You know, just like pouring my heart out to my dad. I mean, the dad couldn't see much of my development and much of my growth. But at least he died in 2005. I started appearing on TV in 1998. He died 2005. I appeared, so it was 6 years after I started appearing on TV. And my dad could go to hospital with the name Gifty Anti, you know. He would go to the hospital and the queue, and my father would walk and tell the nurses, remember those days, there weren't much, you know, TVs around. So it was GTV, and it was first ever morning show, you know, in Ghana on TV. My father would get it. My name is SCJ Auntie. I'm Gifty Auntie, the lady who to give father. Oh, really? Are you sure? And then they'll give you. So I told him that one day you go and meet somebody who doesn't like me, and the person will maltreat you. He said, oh, no, they can't. They can't do that. And before he died, he also said to me, thank you for making the whole of Ghana know my name.
Wow.
You know, Auntie, thank you. I mean, you not only have you become great, but you have made me also. He said something like that. And though I wish I could have done something for my dad. I wish I could have bought him a car before he died. I wish I could have built him a house. I wish I could have traveled, you know, made him, you know, travel by air. I wish I could have bought him even a kente. But that phrase of thank you for making me proud, making Ghana know my name, was enough.
And still Ghanaians are getting to know his name.
So that's why I bossed the chief. I told the chief that, Chief, as for the Gifty Auntie, the auntie.
Me either.
Next week on the Career Trail.
1997, a magazine came out. They described me as beautiful enough for the set, but not intelligent enough for the show.
The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.